Welcome to the Business and Bud Show. You know it's time. Start thinking like a winner when you get online. Streaming audio and video to get you primed for a future of success, a life you design. Business and Buds is the online show for people who want to learn about creating a thriving business and a thriving network. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Business and Bud Show. Welcome back, everybody. It's the Michael Bryant Business and Buds Show. And we are chatting about success, contracts, business, hanging out. I mean, it's everything on this show. It's not just business. It's not just kicking it with your buddies. But, you know, you should buy our stuff and you should be our buddy. So how you doing, Mike? Welcome back.
I'm doing great. How about yourself, Pat?
I can't complain. It's a beautiful day. It is a beautiful Monday. I don't know when you guys are going to see this, but it is a Monday and we are on the grind. And so that's always a good thing, starting the week off right, getting some momentum. I think it's always important to start off on the right foot. You know, I always try to plan ahead on Sundays a little bit, get a little game plan, get to bed early, and, strike early in the week because – you know, as things come in and as we have to digest what the world gives us throughout the week, we have to make adjustments. But we start off in one place and we start strong. For me, at least, always helps me execute better. So,
how do you plan your Sundays?
I plan on Sundays for Monday. I try to be up early. I try to get a workout in, get motivated. Sometimes I'll write something motivational like on Twitter and then screenshot it and post it to my other profiles because it just gets me in the mindset of coming up with something creative that's positive, that's inspirational and motivational. Sometimes that sets me off on the right foot because I'm a creative kind of guy. And so if I'm automatically negative, that's going to translate to negativity for the rest of the day. So I try to do something creative and physical and productive in the morning and kind of get my brain working on the right frequencies. And so sometimes a little positive update in the morning can set the whole tone for your week. You know what I mean?
For sure.
And that's why I follow a lot of positive stuff on the internet, and you can control what you see on the internet, friends. So if you're seeing stuff you don't like from somebody, cut it off.
100%. I mean, all social media just becomes an echo chamber of sorts. Everything that you like, whether you're seeing BLM posts or you're seeing QAnon posts or whatever the fuck it is that you follow, anything that you like, it just adds into that algorithm, and they want to show you more and more and more of that. Right. So, if you like positive things and you like motivational quotes or whatever, and it just spurs something in your brain, I mean, it's super helpful. One thing that I do on Sundays, I do it every day, but I write in my notes on my phone. I write down everything that I did that day, everything that I remember. I basically just try and keep a journal of it. And then I make a note for the next day at night. So today is August 17th. Tonight, this fucking wasp, dog.
He's been coming after you.
It's going to get it.
Is he going to get him?
Fuck out of here.
It's part of the show, folks. It's part of the fun. It's part of the greatness. Part of the story of launching this greatness to the world. That wasp really trying to put a stinger in Mike's beautiful skin.
Yeah, right in that beautiful bald scalp.
That's what it's going for.
So I do that. I write down everything that I did in the day because I speak to so many people during the day that it's hard for me to keep track of everything that goes on. So what I'll do is I do that so that way I can go back the next day and then remember what happened because I'm a fucking stoner and I forget everything. So,
yes, you are.
So I forget everything that, happens, and having a short-term memory is actually pretty good in business. It's also not that great too. You want to have a short-term memory so that way, anytime that you fuck up or you make a failure, you don't get tripped up over it. You don't hold that on to yourself. You have to let go of those things. But you want to have a long-term memory so that way you remember what you did wrong, so that way you can improve yourself the next time that you're in that situation. So I've been journaling and doing that for the past 2 years. I probably have 750 plus days of recorded notes in there. And then I take every morning, the first thing that I do whenever I wake up after, I get my kids ready and shit to go to the nanny, is I write down 3 things that I'm grateful for immediately. And I just put it in there. And that kind of sets my tone for the whole day because, I've had times recently, like where I'm on vacation, where someone tries to cheat me on $120,000 contract. It is what it is. I'm not worried about it. I know that I will get the money because they owe it to me, but it's a thing where you have to have a short-term memory to forget like the little mishaps, but remember the long-term things that you need to carry forward with you, because I've been screwed on contracts before. I'm sure you have too.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's one of those things where, you just have to learn from those things. And I was never a good person in school. I took horrible fucking notes, but now as an adult, I take great notes.
I always cheated off the girls next to me when it came to notes, either Michelle Abrams or Rebecca Rothbaum. Always cheated off of them every time.
I cheated off my wife.
That's funny. The best part is that those girls are still friends with me on Facebook, and I always like send them clips of me saying that. And they're like, "You were so bad. You used to literally like stare at my social studies tests." I'm like, "Well, yeah, you got all the answers right."
Yeah, you did all the work. Why would I do it? I'm trying to optimize here.
Stop covering it up, man. Come on.
100%. So yeah, no, I mean, those are some things that I do to get ready for my day. On top of that, I try to fast from 7 p.m. until 11 a.m. the next day, just to try and keep my mind clear and just have some level of discipline, because I'm a chubby dude and I fucking will drink White Claws on a Monday while we do a podcast.
Damn right, people.
And it's just like one of those, it's something interesting that like you just have to learn what your own willpower is, and you have to test it yourself every day, because no one else is going to be testing your own, strength or discipline for you.
Yeah, it's totally true. And you also got to figure out, and it takes time, failures along the way, but what are your limits in certain areas? And can you take personal responsibility for those failures? See, a lot of times these days, somebody fails at something, they don't do such a hot job, make the wrong comment, take the wrong stance. They end up being wrong about something and they can't admit it.
Oh,
that's a huge flaw. If you can take personal responsibility when you are too far back, forward, or if you're over a line or whatever it is, if you eat too much at this time of night, or if you drink too much, if you smoke too much, if any of those things, if you can just admit those things, that's why I don't smoke weed anymore. Some people can handle it. You can handle it. I just smoke too much, sit around and just get stoned. Then I don't want to do anything productive. I just want to write songs all day. And you know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with that.
Though.
It is. There's nothing wrong with that, but there's also got to be limits on stuff. And I have a hard time putting those limits on myself, or in the past I did. And so I had to eliminate certain activities that I was doing that were limiting my results. And I get better results with songwriting now because I'm not limiting myself in that area. So you got to be able to figure out what those things are. Personal responsibility is extremely important in any area of success. And when somebody bitches out on a contract like you were talking about, that's a personal responsibility thing. You gave me your word, you signed the thing, told me we were going to do this, paid whatever this is up front. Now you're backing out.
Correct.
It's a bitch move.
And the person gave me a reason, which they said it was a family emergency, and I'm amenable to everything. Like I am. If indeed it is a real family emergency, I'm certainly not going to make them pay the entirety of the contract.
Right.
However, I had to hire other people to come on board. I
Mm.
had to bring on staff.
So
Now
there's
I have to,
expenses associated with this purchase now.
for sure. So now you want me to eat an extra 30 or 40 grand because I did what I was supposed to do and you didn't. That doesn't fly with me. So
Right.
at minimum, I need you to cover that cost that I've had to incur because of the contract that you initiated. And the other thing is, I didn't solicit this person. They fucking came to me.
Right. Right.
So my view on contracts is pretty simple. And I've been screwed on contracts before, but my view on contracts is pretty simple. If you sign a contract with me to do something, and I do every single thing that I say that I'm going to do within the confines of that contract, then you are obligated to the financial aspect of that contract, and vice versa. If I am paying you like I am for this service, I am obligated to pay you for your services. I can't just film fucking 20 podcasts with you and be like, oh, hey, by the way, Pat, this doesn't work for me. Sorry. Like,
Yeah. I mean, and again, back to it. I mean, people do that. It's just a bitch move. And the problem with that is those people are obviously not holding themselves accountable in the area, not taking personal responsibility in those areas. Those things are going to show up in other areas of their life anyway. You can only hide a lack of personal responsibility or a lack of whatever commitment for so long before it starts to show up in other areas.
Well, that's why, like, I have a very strict philosophy on this. I do a 30-minute consultation with somebody where I give them every single thing that they want to know. If they want connections, if they want whatever, fucking have it. It's yours. Done. Not a fucking question. However, at minute 31, you owe me $500 an hour for the next fucking hour.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, I value my time more than you do. And I've spent millions of fucking dollars learning these lessons on my own.
Mm.
So if you're willing to go spend $40,000 a year for college tuition to learn business from a professor that's never fucking been in business,
right,
then you better be prepared to spend $500 an hour to sit with someone who is in the fucking trenches every day. Because my time is valuable, and honestly, I'm discounting that time. That $500 an hour may sound like a steep fucking price for a lot of people, but the reality is,
oh, it's not at all.
It's not at all. I have been paid $30,000 for 1 hour of my time to solve a supply chain issue. That was it.
Oh yeah,
And
I mean, I have my friend Russell
minutes.
Brunson. Yeah, my friend Russell Brunson's the ClickFunnels CEO, and I use his service. I use ClickFunnels for all my websites.
Yep.
I love being a customer of Russell because he supported me when I didn't even have money, and I thought his service was too expensive at $100 a month. And you know,
once you realize how much you can make from that 100,
yeah, it's way totally worth it.
It's called perceived value, is what it's called.
$10 a month website doesn't do it as the same as his service does. And so, I mean, he's like, geez, I think he's like $250,000 to speak at your event. It might even be more. I'd have to actually look at his website, but there's a reason for that. And it's because that guy's closed more money. It's a Guinness Book of World Record. The event I met him at, 10X2 for Grant Cardone, he closed like $3 million or something in a 80-minute speech or something like that.
That's fucking insane. That dude deserves that.
$3 million bucks. Might have been even more than that, but it was a lot.
Bro, that's one of the things that is absolutely crazy about this sort of space is, like, I had to solve that problem, right? I did not put the number on the problem. I met this gentleman in Vegas. I spoke with him. He knew that I knew my shit because of the way that I spoke and the fact that, like, whenever he asked me to pull up live numbers, I pulled them up in front of his face. Most people are not willing to do that sort of shit. However, I am. Right. And that earns a level of trust with someone that's, you know, running a really large organization. The issue that they had was that they had all these orders come in for CBD gummies, and they needed someone to fulfill them. They needed someone to make them. Their person was going to be behind because there was an issue with the extraction process. It was a whole supply chain fuck up. And so it was, they needed to move basically 250,000 in product from their weekend sales, but they didn't know how to do it. So they called me and they were like, how much will it be to do this? I said, you guys name your price after I get the deal done. I saved them $250,000 in 40 minutes, and it was one phone call for me. So them giving me $30K for that time is chump change.
Absolutely. You just have to look at what the conversion was. Right.
Right? Like, easily, I remember whenever I made $10 an hour and less, like, it was the same fucking time in the day, except for the fact that my skills and my connections and my trustworthiness with people is that much higher that whenever I make a phone call, people answer. And that's what it really boils down to now, is that, like, or they return the phone call, within a timely manner, or whatever it is. But like, I used to do thousands of sales calls a day selling real estate. Like, not a day, sorry, but a month. That was an exaggeration. I'm stoned and I'm breaking my fast with a giant.
No, I know what you mean.
But
breaking a fast with White Claw definitely puts you in the fucking zinger mode.
So that's just like one of those things where, like, I've put in the time, I've put in the effort. I know whenever I get onto a phone call, I don't look to sell someone on something on the first call. I look to give them value because I don't need their money right now. But maybe in 5 years or 10 years, they have a problem, or they want to go into business with me, or they want to do something. If I give them value up front on that half an hour, I'm basically saying, hey, I'm investing into you. That's how I feel. I'm investing into you as a person, just like other people have invested into me to do the same thing for me. It has been a two-way street my whole life. And I feel that the more that you give, the more that just naturally comes back to you over and over again.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that with anything, and I was just talking about this on a different show. Any of the times I got around the Russell Brunsons or the Grant Cardones or the Gary V's, it was always that opportunity came from giving something for free.
Yep.
Making a song or a skit or a voiceover or an ad or something of value that caught those people's attention, that they uploaded onto their page, that helped them get their name out as well as me get my name out. And they were able to say, hey, I mean, this guy's got some skills. He got on Instagram, took time to make something to promote me. Why don't we have him come perform at the event? Why don't we have him, come jam at the boot camp? Why don't we have him show up at the book release and sing some tunes, get everybody riled up before I speak? And that was what kind of got my foot in the door and changed me from just a musician to an entrepreneur.
100%.
And now I'm in that transition of being an entrepreneur and a marketer and a musician and and an entertainer, all those things, and turning that more into a business owner rather than, a business operator. And I'm still in that process. And that takes time too, because if you're in the process, that means you're getting to a point where you can show people the process that you created that was successful, that's tried and true. And then those people can run those operations while you build.
Well, not just that, but you get to curb all the failure. I think that the value that, like, I give people most whenever I get on a phone call with them is that I'm looking to solve a problem for them, whether there's a monetary gain in it for me or not. I'm looking to solve a problem for them because that's why they're on the phone with me. I'm not looking to gain something financially off of every single phone call that I make.
Right.
I don't anticipate it. Because at the end of the day, like, if I can help scale someone from $10,000 a month to $100,000 a month, that is a complete game changer in their life because I know what that felt like for myself. I know what it feels like to make $500,000 a month in ecom. It feels fucking great. Like,
right.
but it took me 12 years of trial and failure and learning different skill sets and tasting new things and seeing what was going to be the right move for me before I actually became successful in something. But I had to give it my all in every single category. I mean, like, I didn't like doing real estate. However, I sold a fuck ton of real estate.
Right.
I didn't like it because at the end of the day, I was leveraging my time for money. And I knew that that was not going to be the end all be all for me. It couldn't.
Right.
I had to figure out how to make money while I slept. And, you know, that's one of those things where, you know, depression and a lot of those things from not being happy, but honing in your skill set, it's okay to be depressed. Like,
I mean, at this point, I would call it a normal sequence of thought. I mean, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to look at it this way too. What'd you say, lost or squashed?
Lost. It's
because I was about to say squash. Sometimes pressure is a good thing.
It's a great thing.
I mean, you would have zero world famous last minute knockouts or touchdowns or Super Bowl wins or Michael Jordan shots for the championship if there was no such thing as pressure or being under the gun or performing when the game's on the line. I mean, that is the legendary shit that we all crave. And so when those moments arise, that's why we were talking about preparation earlier. Yep. If you're prepared for those moments, if you're over prepared for pressure and stress and anxiety and hurt, then you're going to be able to overachieve when those moments show up, because usually those are symptoms of growth or signs of I'm growing, I'm increasing my capacity in certain areas because I'm breaking through ceilings. If there's never any stress and everything's always comfortable, I mean, I would have to say that I'd be questionable about what the results are going to be long term. I don't know anybody at a high level who doesn't deal with stress and anxiety and emotion that tries to sneak in. I mean, when you start filling up your calendar and you're putting yourself out there and you're filling up your time with activity, there's going to be some stress and some anxiety. I think that sometimes the depressive state can come helpful. Sometimes it is helpful, but it can come from not enough action. Sometimes you're leaving too much white space on the calendar.
That too. Now, I actually find that I mostly get depressed whenever there's too much white space on a calendar. So, like, I'm running 2 businesses. One is going to do 8 figures this year. Another one, which I just launched this year, will do 7 figures this year. And I watched a video yesterday. It was an interview with Ty Lopez and Jordan Belfort. And Ty Lopez took Dan Pena's business model, and just put an ecom twist on it. And I was like, fuck, I could literally do the exact same fucking thing that Ty Lopez just did. And he just bought Pier 1 for $31 million. And Pier 1 did $1.8 billion in revenue last year. So all that he has to do is find the right CEO that's competent enough to steer that ship, give it an ecom twist, close out all those fucking stores, and go entirely online. And if they do 100 million their first year, he's almost paid back the entire fucking investment, because I guarantee they have 20% margins on that.
Right.
And he's paid back almost the entire fucking first year. Year 2, he's profitable, probably at 200 million. Now he's making that much money, and then his evaluation on it is probably 5-6x. So now it's worth over $1 billion again, and he bought it for 31.
Smart guy. Yeah, he spoke at that 10x event that I did with Grant as well, and he was really good. In fact, speaking of e-com, like, he was like the last speaker of the day on the second day of that event, and so I think it was. Yeah. So Russell Brunson was the first speaker in the morning of the second day. And then Ty Lopez closed that day out. And Ty Lopez stayed for like 2 more hours with a little phone in his hand that was like connected to the whole like screen behind him, like the big screen on the stage, and was like doing all this e-commerce stuff off the phone and showing people. I mean, I don't even know how many stores he had running. This revenue stream, this revenue stream, this revenue stream, I mean, dude, I was like, this motherfucker is badass.
Yeah. Oh,
anybody who hates on this guy is a clown.
They sleep on that fucking dude.
And he's actually a really nice guy.
And he's a brilliant
I would not
guy.
mess with his he has a big bouncer that follows him around too. He looks like a big bear. Nice guy, but boy, don't want to cross that guy. He'll body slam you. Super nice people though. And I think that we were talking about this earlier, like people who go on Twitter and have to shit on everybody else's success. And I mean, I'll take my shots. I take my shots here and there at stuff. But the older I've gotten, the more I've realized how hard it can be to hit certain levels and then to sustain those levels of success.
Oh,
I know a lot of people that sold 5 million records 15 years ago. They don't even play guitars anymore. They don't sing. They don't post anything. They don't do content. They don't market their band or their brand. They don't make any money doing it, but they were the big shit 15 years ago.
Well, it's because they didn't pivot and they didn't adapt.
Right.
And they didn't keep trying new things. And the reality is it's great to have my CBD stores that perform well. Right.
Right.
But that can't be my only stream of income. It's one. So I wanted to build another one. And simultaneously, I wanted to help people avoid a lot of the pitfalls that I started with. Whenever I first started, I blew 170K or something like that in the beginning. And it was a hard fucking lesson to learn.
Right.
However, once we got down to the point where it was like, it's sink or swim time, we had learned those mistakes. And then it was time to, grow. And then we scaled it from there. But like, it's crazy. I mean, like that was probably in the first 6 months, I burned 170 on stuff that did not provide it provided a return, but not the returns that we were looking for.
Right.
So,
well, and it's like what we were talking about with the tunes, with writing tunes and playing gigs. I think that all pays off. It has paid off, but how am I going to adjust? Things are changing. I need to be doing way more online. Started making way, way, way more videos online. And people are like, dude, you're crazy. It's a waste of time. You're singing about stupid shit. You're singing about these entrepreneur guys. And here's a classic one. And I don't say it enough. When people start calling you crazy, number one, they're probably intimidated. Number two, you're singing about these business people, and those business people are all scammers. They don't give a fuck about anybody. That was a classic one, because what eventually happened was all those business people I was singing about noticed it, laughed, enjoyed it. A lot of them reshared my shit and got me tons of gigs. And then now when the virus is here and the freaking country is locked down, well, who's running their business digitally, having the biggest months of his career, while other people are out of business and don't know what the hell they're going to do? Because I made adjustments when people were calling me crazy 5 years ago for singing online about people. People are ordering stuff for me just to have me be the voice of this or that or the other thing. So when people are calling you crazy and telling you you're an idiot, or you're starting to change your network and hang out with scammers and stuff like that. And by the way, there are some bunk ass gurus out there,
most of them. I am certainly not a guru, and I never ever want to be portrayed as one. I don't fucking own a Lambo. Not to say that I won't buy one or that I couldn't buy one.
Right.
I just choose not to, because I'm 30 years old in a depreciating asset like that, where I live in Pittsburgh. Like, there's potholes everywhere. I have no fucking interest in doing that. I'll rent one for the day that I want to experience it, and save $200,000 or $300,000. But that $300,000 can go into my other businesses, which grow exponentially. And I have a weird rule about things. If you can't afford to buy it twice, don't buy it.
Well, and that's the thing, is that you just explained it in a couple sentences. You have a growth mindset. And so people that sit around and have to take shots at everybody else, like Ty Lopez or Grant Cardone or Gary Vee or all these things, are people that have time to sit around and they're not taking enough action in their own life. So they're already focusing on someone else. Yep. And then drawing negativity away from that, which is coming from here, by the way. You're not accomplishing something that's coming from here. How can we fix that first? You got to get around better people, because that 100%. Thought process is associated with who you're around. And that's why you and I are going to have eventually a group that people can join where they can get around like-minded people online and avoid that kind of stuff. Because I'm going to tell you something, it's toxic. Sitting around watching somebody kill it and being mad about it, dude, that comes from here. That's not Ty Lopez. That's you.
It's because you're disappointed. It's because you're disappointed in yourself.
And that's okay. But like, we're talking about personal responsibility, number one. Yep. What am I lacking that's making me feel this way? How can I fix that and get different results? I mean, there's steps you can take to fix that very, very quickly. And it's about, what am I downloading into this? And where am I going here? Where am I going there? What's going on in here? So
no doubt. I mean, like, my suppliers, I paid my suppliers, I think, almost $800K last year, maybe more. And they just bought a jet.
It's good stuff.
But they just bought a jet this year. And I'm like on their Facebook and I'm like congratulating them. I swipe up on their Instagram stories, like, fuck yeah, dude. Like, you guys have worked your balls off, and they have introduced me to this entire world that has opened up in front of me. I owe everything to them. A guy named Ryan Idell, my father-in-law, Tom, and Devin.
I've met Ryan before. We talked about that the other day.
And Devin, my developer. And I owe everything to those gentlemen because, like, without them, I would literally be absolutely nothing.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, Ryan and I have done events together.
Ryan is one of the sharpest businessmen that I know.
He was a good speaker that day.
And we have known each other for the past decade, and it has been absolutely incredible to watch him grow as an entrepreneur. I mean, I used to buy custom suits off of him whenever he owned a custom clothing company. And then I actually bought my CBD companies from him, and he taught me about what affiliate marketing was. And he didn't introduce me to a lot of people. He was like, here's what you need to do, figure it the fuck out, and threw me in the deep end after I paid him for the companies. He literally fucking threw me in the deep end. And it was the best thing that ever happened to me, because he was like, you're smart. Here's what you need to do. And he was available if I needed him. He would answer questions, but he didn't just hand me everything. He made me figure it out, which made me a better businessman. And, I owe him a huge debt of gratitude. So Ryan, if you ever watch this, thank you.
Yeah, Ryan, good dude. Appreciate you as well. We did an event, Meltdown in the Desert, I believe, in Phoenix. I think it was like the second or third version of that event. I did all three of them.
That's a Colby K, right?
Yeah. And so he spoke, was one of the closing speakers, and was just like, awesome, man. He was awesome. Super nice guy. His wife's a nice gal. And so, yeah, it's all about, and that was another one of those events where I kind of just showed up, brought my own gear, and kind of, kicked the doors down to become a part of that scene. And that was what it was going to take for me.
And yeah, but look at where you are now.
Right. It's definitely awesome.
Which was a toxic environment for you.
It was.
And I'm not saying
And a lot of
for
people are
everybody.
leaving. A lot of people are leaving California now. People that grew up there that I know that lived in San Diego or northern San Diego, Temecula or Laguna, LA, Hollywood are leaving because
Yeah.
they tax the fuck out of people. Joe Rogan's leaving.
Joe Rogan's moving to Texas where you are.
Yeah.
And then I read this other thing. I don't know if it's true or not. Again, you never know what's true on the internet at all. But I read this thing where U-Haul had no more one-way
Oh, that's probably true.
U-Hauls out of there because
Because
it
that
was
was
the
the
most
case
that
a
they've
few
ever
years
seen.
ago. Yeah. That was already the case a few years ago.
So
You cannot tax yourself into prosperity. And they're going to have to just learn that the hard way. I mean, I love California too. Trust me. That was like one of my big dreams growing up, to be a big rock star in California. And I mean, I did it. I did it for
I look
years and
so
years and
stoned.
years. Well, I mean, you did just take a joint to the dome. And I did it for years and years and years. I was willing to put in the work. I was willing to sleep on floors and play for free. And I was traveling all over the coast playing gigs and did Vegas and Phoenix and all of that. And I started to make the shift to the online world because I knew that my talent would have less of a ceiling on it online. I could get more people to become fans of me online than I could driving up and down the coast, trying to collect paychecks.
Well, I think lot of people don't understand how you make money online, or how I also I make money online in several different ways. Like, one is our stores.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of ways to do it.
Two is whenever I see a post in a CBD Facebook group that is a specific niche group, I engage with them and I give them value for free. Most oftentimes they'll DM me anyways and need something else. Or people will comment and be like, "Oh, Mike is your guy for SEO," because
I just did that the other day.
Yeah. And I helped that guy out. I gave him a free SEO course so that way he could learn on his own. And
that's funny you say that, because that's what started happening to me. Hey, I want to do this and this and this with an ad. Can somebody help me? And the Russell Brunsons or the Dana Derricks or the whatever would tag me and say, dude, you got to hire Pat Hilton. Will write you a song on the spot for your product. And he's dope. And then, $1,500. I mean, that's 15 Friday nights. 3-hour gigs that I used to play. Dead serious. In La Jolla, California, one of the most expensive areas in the country. It's getting paid $100 a Friday to play at this little bar, and God love them, because I never would have made it without them. But that was all they had as a budget for a happy hour acoustic guy.
Yeah, but you're happy for that because you're honing in your craft. If you actually are meant for this lifestyle at all, those things right there, you're happy with, you're proud of.
Totally.
And you understand that, just like anything that you want to be truly great at, you can't buy your way to success.
No, it was almost like I was getting paid to practice, because half the time I was just making up tunes about Becky, who showed up at 6 every night. And then her husband would be in about 6:30. Dan, I think, was his name. No, Dan was the manager. Ralph was Becky's husband. I still remember these people, because these people were the people that kept me in business. So you're damn right. I was trying to provide the best customer service I could for those
100%.
people. I needed them there every week.
Yep. So that's what I'm saying. You can't buy success.
No, I totally agree.
But what you can do is you can buy time to shorten your success.
That's true.
Whole.
And that's something I ran into a wall with that I could have probably done better. But also, I think I was part of an industry that has changed so much drastically over the last 5 years that now I think that we were making fun of fake gurus and stuff. Those people have been weeded out and are being weeded out.
Yeah,
and
not fully yet, though.
Not fully yet, but I'm a part of that transition process of, by the time I'm full on 100% guru, I will have risen through the ranks of dealing with a lot of shitheads, because they're out there and they're not on this screen and they won't be on this show.
I'm hoping that I just and I hope it for you too, but I hope that we both get to the point where we are just trying to be more of the puppet masters than anything else. And here's what I mean by that. Like, I would much rather build a fund and have a crazy board of attorneys and a huge board presence of just years and experience in acquisitions and stuff like that. Build a team out to be able to buy large companies and that already have revenue. They don't have to be large necessarily, but continue to buy these companies that you know are going to provide long-term capital for you. And that's the goal for me, because I would much rather be in Warren Buffett's shoes reading 8 hours a day than being on phone calls and managing everything in the day ins and day outs. I would rather be able to learn what's going to be right and learn from, cyclical mistakes in the recession and things like that.
And move your chess pieces and have the board respond to those moves, right?
Correct. Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what I hope to aspire to. And I'm certainly not there. I'm still in the trenches. And I assume I'm going to be here for the next 10, 15, maybe 20 years. Like, I don't know how long that process takes, but like, I'm going to just continue to do my best and continue to surround myself. And, hopefully on this show, we're able to interview people where I can ask them questions and try and learn from them and provide that value back to everyone else. Because the one thing is, content lives on forever. And this is all educational. I mean, it's fun, but it's all educational too. I mean, we're just talking here, but like, these are all lessons that I have learned, or you have learned, or our guests have learned, that are, if you actually listen to what I'm saying, whether it's a joke or I'm stoned or not, there's a ton of value there, because I've gone through all of this shit.
Right.
Like, it's not all pretty. I've almost gone through bankruptcy. Like, I've had shitty credit scores. Like, it is all part of the process. And then guess what? Once you start making some money, the first thing you should do, fix your fucking credit again. Because now you have credibility in whatever you want to do. You can go buy cars if you want them. You can go lease stuff. You can get 0% interest on things. You can leverage debt so that way you can have cash flow. Like, there's a lot of things that you can do. So, I mean, shit, that's a whole nother episode to unpack, I think.
Right.
Is leveraging other people's money for your own success. And that's...
Man, all the real estate guys, the real estate people that I know that are getting the most residual income and cash flow are using other people's money to do it and using other people's talents. I have a friend, his name's Tim Bratz, and he runs a commercial apartment company. I think they're called Legacy Wealth Holdings. And he's got an attorney, and he's got a team, and dispositions and acquisitions and property management companies, and they're all over the country. So they've got all these codes that are different. The code in Indiana is different than where you're at, than in Pennsylvania.
Yep.
So he's got to have different types of lawyer relationships. That his lawyer, Fadi is his name. Fadi Bomitri is his name. What a cool lawyer name, right? This dude has relationships with all these different lawyers in all these different states, because he needs to know the code and the compliance and all these different things that are different, so that they can make sure if a deal is correct for their cash flow, the mechanics are right for them to cash flow an apartment property. I mean, dude, there's a fuckload of work that goes into that.
Yeah.
And so,
well, that's why everyone wants to hate on people that own these big complexes and think that they're all assholes and like that their success shouldn't be had. They don't
listen. It's a loser mentality. If you think that a landlord is evil and that you're supposed to just be able to live for free, and you don't believe in like private property or investing or in capitalism or something like that, I mean, then you literally live in the wrong place.
Oh no, you can move a bunch of other places and
There's a
have
lot
what
of
you
other
want.
places that don't work like that, and that's not what their system was built on. The reason
But
why
the problem is you have to have skills.
you got to have skills. I was about to say that. The reason why there's more millionaires and billionaires that came from this country than pretty much anywhere else is because the skills and the conversion and the capitalist society that we live in,
Yep.
you know, and these are the same people that order shit on Amazon, right? And then get on their cell phone and film themselves doing whatever they're doing. But then they want to bash on billion-dollar companies or billionaires, or
Yeah.
it's trillion-dollar companies, let's be honest. But bashing on billionaires, you're thinking small.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I've learned this. Like, money is infinite.
Yeah, absolutely. There's more money now than there's ever been. Look at how much of it they just printed.
Correct. This is another topic to go into, but like I just keep buying Bitcoin over and over and over again.
Yeah, Mike's a big Bitcoin fan, folks.
Well, that and I believe in Ethereum and Chainlink. I believe in those three as a great starting point. This is not financial advice. I don't know if you want to put something at the bottom or have like my attorney.
A disclaimer. Mike's not giving you financial advice, but Mike can invest in whatever he chooses to. So,
correct. And I choose to
invest. Any decisions that you make regarding your financial future are your decisions, and we are not held liable or accountable for the decisions that you make regarding your money or your investments.
Thank you, Patty Cakes.
How about that?
I appreciate
Bobby
that.
Boumitri, baby. Come on. You know I sat through his presentations. Anyway, go ahead.
So that's one thing that I've been investing in since 2013. And Bitcoin back then, I mean, I think I'm averaging somewhere around like 2,400 a coin. And it's trading at 12,200 last I checked. I won't touch that at all. I will continue to just acquire because I believe that it's going to go up as more people, like, it's insane how little people are utilizing this storage of value. And once more money flows into it, which it inevitably will, it is going to go up like crazy. And it's just, I don't know, I'm stoned. But like Bitcoin,
it's going to go up like crazy. That's Mike's opinion.
Again,
and I mean,
don't fucking buy or do. I don't care what you do. I'm not.
Yeah, he's not telling you what to do. He's just telling you what he likes. That's like, I've never understood that. If I like rollerblades and hockey gear, and somebody goes and buys rollerblades and hockey gear and breaks their neck because they didn't buy a helmet, it's not my fault.
Correct.
Anyway, also, we are not liable for your investing failures.
Or your winnings. I don't want
your winnings. We don't want any credit either way.
I don't want to be involved in it at all. I just think that with the scarcity that Bitcoin provides and the ability for you to just remember 12 key phrases in your head, making you your own bank, I believe that sort of level of value is going to become very apparent whenever there's only 21 million Bitcoins that can ever be had. And the Fed can print any fucking amount of money that they want. It is mind-boggling. And they do. They don't give a fuck. So at the end of the day, I think that you're leveraging the US dollar against a very scarce supply of something that is extraordinarily valuable because it is a borderless currency. And whenever that happens, I think that Bitcoin goes crazy. And I mean crazy, like 100x crazy from where it is now.
There you go. You heard it. You heard it here, folks. So, yeah. And I think that just goes back to the fact that you're studying things outside of what's already working. So you got some stuff working, you got some great things going for yourself, but you're always looking for new ways to learn. You're looking for new ways to expand. You're looking at new verticals in business. And even with this, like I said, I mean, you guys have an opportunity now to contact Mike. Mike's not really been, I mean, I'm way more Mr. Social Media than you are. That's not an insult either. It's just,
I post weed and I post weed, my kids, And then
I'm an
sometimes,
entertainer.
like,
I'm passionate about making shit that makes people laugh or entertaining people. Mike is getting more geared towards communicating with people on social media and stuff.
yeah,
So my point is you're going to have way more access to Mike than you did in the past. So
for sure.
man, take advantage of it. Ask questions, send the man a DM. Like I said, we're going to have a community for people to join. That's going to be a private community for members only that want to get serious about their network, that want to get serious about taking their money to the next level or content to the next level or whatever you want to do. We're going to have all kinds of people joining us here. And, you know, our goal is to get better too. So we're not these guys that are preaching or talking down to anyone. We've got improvement to do in tons of areas.
Bro,
But as you can see, people like Michael and I have the freedom to do shows and put out content and stuff. He's literally drinking White Claws and smoking friggin' joints to the dome on a Monday. So life doesn't suck for us.
Nah. No, life doesn't suck for me at all. No, my life is great. I came back from the lake. My store functioned the whole time that I was gone. I had a podcast with you while I was on vacation.
Yeah, it was
I
a
took
fun
the
one.
calls that I wanted to take, and I just did what I wanted to do. And that's kind of been like, to me, that's happiness, and that's all that I care about. Like, if I never grew financially from the point that I am at today, I would be just as happy as long as I had the freedom to do what I want with my day. Then that's all that really matters to me.
Right.
And also, of course, like, take care of like my kids' financial future and stuff like that. But like, I'm gonna, like, that's already taken care of. So like, from that perspective, it's like, now I have the luxury to try and learn as much as I can about whatever I want to learn about. And I think that is, you can't just stop learning when you're done high school or done college and think that's it. Like, that's the worst fucking thing that you could do. And I think that's what almost every college student in the world does, is they think that, oh, I'm done and now I have the job. Now it's over. But like, it doesn't have to be that if you don't want it to be. But if you're happy with that, my wife is perfectly happy, you know, managing a large telecommunications, like, financial sector in her company. Like, she is very happy to do what she does and work from 8 to 5 and leave her work at work, even though she works at home. But like, check out, and that's a problem for tomorrow. That is what she wants, because then she has the time to
my wife's the same way.
Yeah, work with our kids and all this other stuff. I have always been driven to just do fucking more. Like, my dream is to be a billionaire by the time that I'm 50. I don't know that I'll hit it. I firmly believe in my head that I will, and I'm really trying. But
I think that's great. I mean, and putting it out there again. Yeah, investment.
There's no
advice
guarantee.
May or may not work.
No. I mean, there's no guarantee in anything that you try to do.
No,
it doesn't matter
totally
what
agree.
it is. Like, you could invest $100 in, if we decided to open up a course here and it's $100 a month, let's say, you could decide to invest $100 that month and be on it for 12 months, and you spent $1,200, but you didn't pick up the phone one fucking time and make a cold call. You didn't do a single fucking thing. That's not my problem. I don't feel bad for you, and I have no
lack of effort's definitely not going to bring you a $1,000 return on your investment.
No, I have no fucking time for you at all. None. Also, if you come into the group and you invest $100 a month and you have no other skill set except for being a babysitter, let's say, I'm not demeaning babysitters in any way, shape, or form, but let's say that is your only skill set, is dealing with children, and you are trying to get into running your own company online, and you have no other knowledge, it's going to cost you more than $1,200 to become successful in online space. You are going to need to invest into yourself the same way that you would invest into a college degree, the same way that you would invest.
You got to learn how to run emails, and you got to learn how to run CRM software, and you need a website. You need to
learn how to automate.
Or that.
Like if you know how to automate and you don't have to do any of that shit, and you spend an hour on the front side setting up your email automations, or 10 hours or whatever it takes. You spend the time on the front side, and then now you don't have to do it on the back end, and you have perfect copy that you know is going to convert, and it's tailored to you. Like, there is an infinite amount once you learn how to run ads that you can make. Like, infinite. It's how much are you comfortable spending every month. For me, I have no budget. I will spend $20 million a month if I could make back 40. I'd spend way more than that, actually. Like, literally, it doesn't matter to me.
Right.
But you have to be able to stomach it too, because you may have a loss, and you better learn the mistakes early whenever the cost is cheaper.
Right. And that's what I was saying. I mean, you got to be willing to take the hits. hits. And while I had years where I didn't make very much money, but I was always playing guitars and singing and having a good time doing what I love. I've spent my whole life doing what I love to do.
Yep.
And that's entertain people, whether it's with a microphone or with a guitar, with a DJ rig, or whoever I was traveling with, from Gary Vee to Coolio or Afro Man, or all these people that I've done stuff with from past to present. It's I've always been entertaining people and putting myself on stages or on streams now or whatever it was. And it's extremely fulfilling to dedicate your life to what you love to do. And so how can you monetize that? How can you grow that? And how can you become an expert in that field? Maybe if you're someone who's a babysitter and you want to build a business, maybe you start showing people how to do this, how to do that, how to get the bottles organized in the cabinet, and how to do this and that and the other thing, and organization and activity planning and all these things. And then maybe you make a program for that. You sell X amount of programs for that. Well, guess what? You just sold 10 programs at $200. Now you made your money back on your $100 a month investment on the group. So you've got to think, I just was able to do that in a minute. And how can I, as a babysitter, take some knowledge from these gentlemen and turn it into something that is a return?
Well, fuck.
You can do it with anything.
Bro, if you're a babysitter, the easiest thing that you could do to make money. All right, here's a tip for babysitters. If you're a babysitter, think about this logistically. You want to find the highest paying job that you can get, right? You want to maximize your time for your value. I feel like that's fair to say, correct?
Absolutely.
So I would go and I would search on Facebook in the richest neighborhoods around you, in the richest zip codes. I'd find out what they are. And let's say, like, around me, it's like Sewickley is like a super rich neighborhood. Average median home there is probably $700K.
You got to aim high profile. I didn't try and contact Gary Vee and Grant Cardone because they were freaking small little fish. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry. I'm agreeing with you. You can't shoot for you can't shoot for the freaking dollar beer club and think you're going to make millions of dollars. So anyway, go ahead.
So what was I saying?
You got to area that you were stating that is a high dollar area that you would suggest babysitters in your area go get hired.
Got it. So let's say that you target that area, and that, like, you can easily figure this out. Search on Zillow and figure out what the highest home values are around. Super simple. So figure that the fuck out. Or you could Google it. Simple as, what are the richest areas around Pittsburgh? There's guaranteed to be a fucking article about it.
Absolutely.
Do that. Then go on to Facebook. Find a group that is in Facebook and be like, get into the group. It'll be like, for me, a close one is called Moon Connect. Okay. Moon Connect is like a big group, and it's a huge community thing. There's like 15,000 members in it. Go on to that and be like, hey, I babysit. I have these for references, and my rate is $25 an hour, and here's why. I guarantee you, if there's no comments on the post, you get DMs in your fucking request thing or in your messenger inbox, because there are people that are wealthy that aren't going to take the time to comment and message you because they're thinking about their time. They're just going to fucking send you a message. So whenever you see things that don't have a ton of engagement on them, it doesn't mean that it didn't make that person money on a post.
That's
and
true.
Also, you're going to be able to find the wealthiest people. If you get any person in that group that can afford to pay that, you got what you asked for. Or go in there and be like, hey, what responsibilities are you looking for me to take after? And then I'll give you a price.
Yeah, I dig it. You got to look for it. You got to look for the opportunity. You got to take the extra time to prepare so that you're prepared to find the right opportunities and execute on the right opportunities. And then guess what's going to happen? There's going to come pressure and anxiety and stress that comes with all of those things combined. And you're going to come to points where, hey, you know, the game is on the line. I can't tell you how many times everything was on the line at a gig. Everything was on the line playing some gig. It might have been a couple $100. And I'm sure people have been in this situation before where if you're not able to execute on that couple $100, you lose. You go negative. And I can tell you years and years and years and years and years of times where I hit the game winning shots on those opportunities and was able to continually connect the dots. And that's why I'm still doing what I love now, is because I was willing to put it all on the line. Time and time and time and time and time and time again. And then when that stress and that anxiety comes, you're able to execute. When I played that big event, that 10X event I was talking about earlier, 10,000 people there, and I didn't get to sound check the guitar, even though I was there way before anyone else to prepare, because I knew in my head, well, they might, since it's a break time thing, they might not check my guitar, which means it has the potential to cut in and out the whole time, right? Especially if I'm using wireless gear, which I generally never use. I always use a cable because it never cuts out. So of course they gave me a wireless thing and tested it briefly. And then I ran up on stage and started playing, and fucking things cutting in and out like right away. And I'm like,
no, was it?
Yeah. If you go watch me, the performance is on YouTube. So type Pat Hilton 10X2 and the guitar's cutting in and out. And you can see me because I used to set up guitars for that was my business. I worked in Vegas, the same venue that I performed at, setting up wireless systems and stuff for people. So you can see me I raise my arm and the pack is here and it'll reconnect. And then I'll go back and move around again. And it'll start cutting out and I'll move and it exposes the pack to the receiver. So you can literally see me making adjustments and stuff, singing the songs. No, because I was, like I said, I was mentally prepared for it to fuck up.
Yeah.
So when it did fuck up, there's a timer on the stage anyway. And I'm like, well, it's 10 minutes. So you're just going to have to make this part of your act.
Yep.
So I'm like, hey, can everybody hear me out there? I feel like it's cutting in and out or whatever, but it doesn't matter. If this thing goes dead, I'll just sing to you and we'll all clap our hands or whatever. So I turned it into part of the skit. You know what I mean? It was almost part of the act.
Yeah.
But I was prepared for that to happen because I had tested equipment in that room, and that room is notorious for dropping wireless signals. Because I worked right up the street at a company. We did Sugarland in there. It took me 45 minutes one afternoon to get the mandolin player or banjo guy's thing to connect on the right frequency. And they just didn't take the time to do it, which is fine because I knew how to handle the situation when I was under the gun.
Yeah, no, it's super important.
So I think that's part of it. You guys got to prepare. I mean, you see UFC fighters or something preparing, training so that when they start taking shots, they know how to leverage their body movement and they know how to leverage the other person's movement to try and find openings to win. That's just like business, man. So, but yeah, man, I think it's been great. This has been a great episode. It's a great point to to cut people out into the next one and just remind everybody that, hey, listen, we're here for you. Shoot us a message, shoot Mike or I a message, or we're going to have some pages up. These are pretty much the first episode. So we're just having a good time, firing, shooting from the hip. But
hold on,
just understand.
Did our sponsor pay for this episode or no?
Our sponsor, Wellbeing Labs, of course they did. Yeah,
I wasn't sure.
Yeah, it'll be on the screen. I'll have that on the screen like the whole time when I burn these down. So everyone will be forced to look at that like the whole time. But that is Mike's company, wellbeinglabs.store. You guys can go check out the deals they got going on creams and oils and all things essential to your well-being. It is Wellbeing Labs, folks. But I do want to say that success it starts here. It starts here, and it ends with how much heart do you have when shit gets hard, because it will get hard. There will be. Mike lost all his fucking hair.
Facts, bro. literally in the past 12 months, I lost all my hair. So, I mean, it's part of the game, but if you have a network of people that can help you, get your mindset right and execute on your vision and action steps and stuff like that, man, it's priceless, because the people that are around you that are doing it dealt with similar things, had similar questions, and can give you answers for anything that you need. And so we're excited to be part of that process for you. We love you all. Wellbeing Labs, Mike Bryant, Business and Buds. We'll see everybody next time. See you, Pat.